This is Sports Central with Joe D and John Franchini on WICR.
And we are back. Like we said earlier, we started talking about the first four matchups in the Sweet 16. Now we're going to jump in to the next four matchups, where we start off with the 11 seed Tennessee Volunteers taking on the number 2 seed Michigan Wolverines. John, who do you like in this one?
I like. This is a tough one, you know. I'm gonna go with Michigan, just because of how I really wasn't that impressed with Tennessee. I mean, Michigan had a good year this year, the whole year, and I think they're just gonna dominate Tennessee.
You know, here's
I'm the only reason why I would be picking Tennessee over Michigan is for the upset, basically.
You know, here's a team in Tennessee who's really picked up the pace in basketball as of late. I believe they've won 8 of their last 9 games, and they've really, they've won 2 tournament games. First with that playing game against Iowa, then they had to go and take on a 6 seed in UMass. A little overranked UMass, I thought.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but it'll be a good matchup. I think Tennessee has somewhat of an advantage down low. I mean, they got some big boys.
They do.
They got some big boys in the post. But the question is, can they stop Nick Stauskas? Can they stop Nick Stauskas?
We'll see.
What do you think?
I think they can. I think they can, but I think the experience of Michigan is gonna really take over, and how far they got last year, the players that still remain from that team, such as Glenn Robinson III, I think will help out, and I think they'll overcome Tennessee. But I think Tennessee will put up a good fight.
All right, we got another caller on the line. Let's see what he's got to say now.
Pete Contadori, Joe and John, gotta say, love the show. Quick question: out of the Sweet 16, who do you think's winning the entire tournament?
Well, perfect question to
Thank you
ask
for the call, Pete.
At a perfect time. Yeah, thanks again, Pete, for calling us and joining the program. You know what? I think I was saying it earlier. I think Louisville. I like Rick Pitino's squad. I think they're playing great basketball. They're playing at a high level. I know they got a little bit of a scare against Manhattan, but that's just a factor of a lot of other factors going into that game, other than how the team performed. I think this is just an overall one of the best teams in the tournament, who at a 4 seed is really underranked.
Yeah, I can agree with that. In the final game, I have Florida in the national championship game. I have Florida against Louisville, but I have Florida winning over Louisville just because of their overall. I mean, Billy Donovan. When it comes down to this, coaching has a lot to do with both these teams' success. Rick Pitino and Billy Donovan. Both these coaches are very established, but I feel that it's just Florida's year. I don't know what it is. I feel like Florida's just going to overcome all odds, and I think that they're going to take it. But Patrick Young is a beast inside. I think that he's going to dominate anybody inside that Louisville has. When it comes down to Russ Smith and Scotty Wilbekin, I would take Russ Smith, but Scotty Wilbekin is close second, I feel, because of how he can handle the ball and score at will, like he's shown in this tournament, and I think that Florida will take it.
Now, like we said earlier, that Florida would be playing UCLA. As for Louisville, their path to getting to the championship game will first have to go against a Kentucky team who just took down the number 1 seeded Wichita State Shockers. Was I shocked? No, because I actually had Kentucky.
Me too.
I had Kentucky.
I did too. I was not that impressed with Wichita State this year.
Well, here's the thing, as the critics have said, who has Wichita State played?
Exactly. I was just about to say that. I'm going to fall into that category of being one of those guys that's going to say, Wichita State hasn't played anybody, blah, blah, blah. And then there are people who are like, well, they were still, undefeated. But, yeah, they're undefeated. But, when it comes in college basketball, when it comes down to it in college basketball, you have to beat the best teams. And you have to and not only do you have to beat the best teams, but you have to beat them considerably and to show that you're a legitimate squad. And I don't think Wichita State has done that, and they were defeated by maybe a better team in Kentucky with a bigger star. I tell you that. And Randall, Julius Randall is the best player on that court.
And here's the thing with Wichita State. They have been able to make these deep runs in the tournament earlier these past few years where it kind of made me believe, you know what, they did it with no experience. Now they're going in as a number 1 seed with, a great amount of experience. They could possibly pull it off. But what made me believe that Kentucky would dethrone them and destroy their undefeated season was the fact that this Kentucky team has turned their season around big time.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was a part of this. There was a part of the season where this team was really forgotten. Calipari has been coaching some wonderful teams, and quite frankly, this isn't his best team. And he's been able to rally the troops together, make them focus, regain their composure, and they're really poised to make a big run. They almost took down Florida in that SEC championship game. They've been playing at a high level.
You're right.
When
Forgot all about that.
When the Harrison twins are on, that team is a completely different animal. And I mean, you mentioned Julius Randle.
I love Julius Randle.
I mean, I think the kid's going to be a phenomenal NBA player when he gets there. But when these Harrison twins are playing well and knocking shots down from behind the arc, and then you have the factor where you could throw it inside to Julius Randle, or he could step a little bit outside of the paint and hit a shot, it's a dangerous team.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, Harrison twins have shown that they can contribute in a big way to this team. And I think Julius Randle, it provides the star power that I guess Louisville doesn't have. I mean, they have Russ Smith, who in college basketball he's a star, but I feel like Julius Randle, if he can really come into his own, I think that he can produce at a high level. On the professional level. I'm a big fan of down low, hard nosed, rough basketball players that now in this NBA, it's a prima donna league. I feel like everybody's just, celebrities for no reason. What have they done? They've done nothing, and they're so soft. Everything's so soft in the NBA. Julius Randle knows how to, get dirty, and he really is a hard-nosed player. I like him a lot.
You saw Rick Pitino have to battle against the emotions going against Masiello. Now you have a rivalry between Louisville and Kentucky that's coming back between, Calipari and Pitino. It's set up to be a great matchup, and it definitely will be. And it wouldn't be surprised if Kentucky could get by Louisville. Look out! This team could make a run.
Yeah, I mean,
this team could possibly go all the way if they get past these guys.
I tell you what, Kentucky, if they beat Louisville, they'll be playing the winner of Michigan against Tennessee, and I think Kentucky can beat both of those teams.
Yeah, I mean, they got the players that when those freshmen are playing at a high level, when everyone's making shots,
all right,
it's a different team.
Now that would bring Kentucky to the Final Four, and they would have to play. If they did make the Final Four, they would have to play one of these 4 teams: Arizona, San Diego State, Baylor, and Wisconsin.
Yeah,
all winnable games for Kentucky. As long as the Harrison twins and Randle are on top of their game.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we could say that about any of these teams, really. If everyone's on, they're going to win. Yeah, true. But I think that, how they've battled back, how they've come together this late in the season is definitely a plus. And, you're going in after knocking down the number one, an undefeated team, the number 1 seed. There's a lot going, but they're riding on a lot of momentum.
So I was gonna say just now about how I was talking about Julius Randle as the guy as a star power in this tournament. What is the one guy that you feel that is the best as a player that has the potential to be a star in professional basketball that's not really being talked about right now?
That's not really being talked about?
The one guy that stood out to you in this tournament right now, the one player.
Right now, I would have to say who has, it would probably be someone from Iowa State. And I'm not sure if it would be DeAndre Kane
I was about to say Kane.
Or Melvin Ejim. And here are 2 guys who play at an extreme level, have helped turn this Iowa State team around, who will be playing UConn in their Sweet 16 matchup.
And I was just going to get to my boy, Shabazz.
Well, before you get to Shabazz, let me finish about Iowa State. Here's an Iowa State team who I have in the Final Four. And
really?
Well, yeah, I mean, here's a team who's played well in a competitive Big 12 the entire season. They've showed that they could play against the top dogs in Kansas all year long, Oklahoma State, and other Big 12 teams. Unfortunately, their big man George Niang got injured, fractured his foot, is missing the rest of the tournament. That is a huge blow for Iowa State. I still think they may be able to make that run because of the production that they get off the bench from players like Naz Long. Also, Dustin Hogue, who's in the lineup as a starter, definitely contributes. It goes under the radar, almost averaging a double-double. It'll be influential. Those guys need to be influential and make an impact for them to move on. But the question is, can they contain Shabazz?
And my guy that I think nobody's talking about, and I think a lot of people should be talking about, is Shabazz Napier, who I feel has a little bit of young Kemba Walker in him from the alum from UConn. I think Shabazz Napier looks like a terrific ball player, and I think that success in college will translate into the NBA. I'm really impressed with him.
Shabazz has got a swagger.
He put the team on his back the other night against Villanova. Even when he got hurt, he drained a couple shots. He really led that team to victory. And that leadership and that ability to put a team on your back, it will show NBA, not only the audience, but NBA scouts, which really matters, how you can carry yourself on the basketball court on the professional level and how you can dominate.
Now, do you think the UConn Huskies need Shabazz to play at that level to move on?
Against Iowa State, yes.
Yeah, if Iowa State,
I think that they need Shabazz Napier to play at his very best every night for them to move on. Because I think without Shabazz Napier, this team probably didn't get out of the first round.
And that's why I didn't have him. I didn't have him out of the first round.
Really?
I had St. Joe's taking him down.
Okay.
And that's the thing, when you are one-dimensional, similar, I think they're more talented to a Creighton team, but as I said earlier, as Creighton was so one-dimensional
Creighton's just Doug McDermott.
Doug McDermott, UConn does have some other options, but if you limit Shabazz Napier, you contain him, you make him have to pass the ball and have other people score, now it becomes a lot tougher for UConn to do anything on the offensive side.
And unlike Creighton, who I'm not a fan of, I do not like Creighton because they are so overrated, unbelievably overrated. They're a 3 seed in this thing. You kidding me? And Louisville is a 4th seed. Creighton's a 3 seed. They have Doug McDermott, and that's it. L.A. Lafayette. They beat L.A. Lafayette by 10, and then they got crushed by Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor did a number
by
on them.
30.
But like I said, UConn's gonna need something more from Shabazz if they want to continue their postseason run.
So Joe, what's your Final Four looking at? Let's wrap it up.
My final. Well, we didn't get into Michigan State, Tom Izzo against the Virginia Cavaliers. I think that'll be a great matchup. Also, I think Michigan State though right now is also playing at an elite level, which will take them past the number 1 seeded Cavaliers.
As I have that too.
So my Final Four, I have Iowa State taking down Michigan State. So Iowa State plugged in there. I got Florida. I have Louisville, and I have Arizona.
Okay.
Now,
so all of your final. Wait, this is from your original bracket?
Yeah.
Wow. So you have everybody.
I have everybody. I have 12 out of the 16 Sweet 16 teams.
Very nice.
Everyone from the Elite Eight.
Very nice.
Everyone Final Four in the championship game. However, I am concerned with my Iowa State pick, because they're playing without their big man, who unfortunately went down with an injury.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my Final Four, I have 3 of the 4 of my Final Four.
Okay, you're still alive.
Mercer killed me when they got rid of Duke because
you had Duke.
I had Duke going
to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
I know. I'm sorry.
What was wrong with you when you were picking that?
I don't know. I have a little bit of a soft spot for Duke and Krzyzewski and Jabari Parker, but
I actually had Duke. Who was their second? Who was Mercer's second round?
Tennessee. They lost
to Tennessee. No, you know what? I had Duke in my Sweet 16. I did have him deep. Mercer did throw everyone a curveball.
Yeah, I had Duke taking care of Tennessee, and then I had Duke taking care of Michigan.
No way. No. Definitely not. Definitely not.
And then Duke. Oh man.
Wait here. You want to talk about Duke here?
Duke. Final Four. My Final Four.
Hold on. Just because you brought up Duke, here's what are you huffing and puffing about, huh? You're gonna get your shot. Don't worry. You're gonna get a better shot than Duke.
All right.
But
go ahead, Joe.
Here's Duke against Mercer. Here's a team who shot lights out from behind 3, collected offensive rebounds like it was no tomorrow. If Duke was having an off day from behind the arc and wasn't getting as many second chance opportunities, Mercer would have won that game by at least 10 or 15 points. I mean, it was unbelievable how Suleiman and Cook were nailing. They nailed 12 out of the 15 Duke threes that game. 15 threes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. You live or you die by those threes. And even though they hit them,
They died.
Mercer still was able to take care of
Yeah.
business. Now your Final Four.
Thank you, Joe.
Your
I
time to shine.
appreciate that. Duke. Then Arizona, Florida, and what was the other one?
I don't know.
Michigan
You
State.
tell me.
Michigan State.
Tom Izzo. Can't go wrong with Tom Izzo. And who do you got winning it all?
Florida.
Florida. And I have Florida losing to Rick Pitino's
Yes, you do.
Cardinals. Well, that's it for our college basketball segment right here. We'll take another quick break, come back, jump right into the NFL, some new NFL news, possibly new rules being coming our way. Everyone
No, they are. They're definitely coming our way.
They're definitely coming our way.
Yes, they are.
And we'll bring it to you next. Remember, keep the calls coming. We've been busy on the phone lines
It's on
tonight.
fire.